With some of the new added features in Google Docs, we can now add watermarks to our documents. So that is a image or text in this case that sort of floats behind the text on your document itself. So not using sort of image and adjusting the wrapping, this is very specific to always being behind the text and just sitting there no matter what. So let's take a look at how that's going to work. When I'm here and I'm looking at my document, I've got this up right now with nothing going on. And to just add some text here, I'll go ahead and do that right now. Smash the keys a little bit so we've got some text on there. And let's see, I'll just grab a bit of that and then just paste some more junk in here so we've got just something on screen, so I'm not just messing around on a blank page. Oop, said copy, paste, paste. There we go. All right, bunch of junk. So if I needed a watermark, I can go up to the Insert menu now. I can come all the way down to Watermark. If you've never touched it, you'll actually probably see a little blue New icon sitting there. So you can click it, and on the far side, I get this little sidebar here where I can drop in an image or type some text. So maybe I just want the old draft. If I scroll down a little bit, I can see that that is now floating in the background on my document. The sizing's automatic. I can change it if I want to. I can start minusing or increasing. I could click into there and go with the auto option again, or even just type something in like 200 and hit enter and adjust it that way if I want to. I can start messing around with colors and things, but of course, if we want this to be in the background and very faded, I'm not going to go with anything too dark or too solid because now I can't read the text that's there. So I'm probably just going to leave that alone. It's something really, really faded. There we go. And not mess with it too much. I might make it bold, possibly, but that's about it. I can adjust transparency here, that's true. So even if I went with a really dark color, I could start bringing down the transparency to make it gray. So it kind of begs the question, why would I bother? If I go here and make that yellow, I can be really thick and have a hard time, or I can go really, really faded, and it's very subtle. Now, of course, remembering that if I start messing with these colors, I have to think about whether or not this is going to get printed. And if so, am I printing this on a color printer or not? Because that's going to change things as well. I could go with that yellow maybe, think that it looks all right on screen, then when I print it, I can't read my text anymore. So just be mindful of that when you're messing around. I could go too horizontal if I needed to, or I can leave it on diagonal. And that's for my text options here, as well as, of course, fonts. Maybe I go with permanent marker, which looks kind of terrible in this case. There we go. Alternatively, of course, the other option I have here is image. So maybe I've got a specific image I want to throw into here. I went and did a little watermark search earlier. Let's see what I find. There's this one. What else might possibly look good as a watermark? Yeah, we'll go with that guy. Insert. And when that drops in, I get him there right away. He's got sort of an automatic scaling again, which I can of course adjust. So if I crank that up to 200, it's going to completely fill my page, even my margins and borders and headers and footers, all of that. I can say I want this to be faded, but then it gets, in this case, way too faded, so I'm going to leave that alone. I'll go back to auto for a moment. I do have more auto image options I can choose from here, so I'll click that. And I get my typical sort of image options for adjusting things here. Size and rotation, if I wanted to mess around with it a little bit, I could. Position, possibly, if I was going to change layouts a little bit. But see here, that's not really changing anything. Because again, it's, there, that one did. It is just, there we go. So middle, the vertical options are making some adjustments there on my quick layout option. But generally speaking, I'm not really going to change the position of my watermark. Watermarks are typically right in the middle of your page. And that's just a common thing. I could recolor here. So similar to my text color options, if I wanted to start messing around with that, I could go with some slightly different color choices, even really gray ones. And then I've got my other adjustments here like transparency. So even if I've made that a little dark or I give it some color, I can still crank it down and make sure that my text is going to be legible and readable, because that's still the most important part. Brightness potentially, although that's going to really wash it out. That was too much. There we go. And then contrast possibly, which in this case there's not really too much to worry about contrast-wise, but you can find something that'll work for you. All right, I close my image options and I'm back on my watermark sidebar here. And the only other thing I might do here is, well, if I hit the pencil, it's for changing that image. So I would be selecting something else and messing around with that as well. So I could say I'm done, and I'll have my watermark there, and then when I click into my page, I'm just able to continue typing away. And there's no way really for me to start clicking until I double click into that space and I get this option to edit the watermark. I can even make small adjustments that way if I wanted to resize it a little bit. If I hit edit watermark, or if I came back up to my insert watermark option, same thing, I'm going to get this sidebar popping open. So if I decided, you know what, I made a mistake, or it was a draft option and now it's not a draft anymore, then I can simply come over to here, look at the very, very bottom, and I've got remove watermark there, so I can get rid of him and say done. And I'm back to a regular old document without anything special going on, and I'm able to go ahead and just continue with my document, save it, and make use of it as I need.